Okay, well, hello and welcome again to a new episode of the KewCast. I'm John, joined again by my good pal, Eddie. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, man, it is upon us.
Which is weird because it's still almost 60 degrees outside, no snow in sight.
I was about to say, yeah,
It's
no
crazy.
snow in
It
sight
does not
for sure.
feel like Thanksgiving at all.
Record period of no snow in Colorado here, which is a little bit bananas. You know, I'm not mad about it in terms of my personal life, but we certainly need the water. That's
I
for
think
sure.
it's the second latest first snow on record.
Second latest
Right.
first snow. Okay.
Yeah, so the latest first snow, I think, is like December 10 for Denver.
And the longest period we've ever gone without.
That's true,
snow.
too.
Yeah, which is
That's not good.
bananas. But
Good
we got
for
some
pickleball.
stuff to talk about, and we can put all this stuff behind us. So we've actually got no paddles of the week this week, but we've got a stacked card nonetheless. So we're going to talk about some gear of the week. We have an indoor glasses roundup. You know, I'll talk about more about that soon, but I've been having issues like finding a good pair of glasses that I actually like to wear indoors. So chat about that.
Might be able to help you there today.
Okay, well, good stuff. I like that. I'm going to talk about the Bodhi Backpack and the Neonic Sidekick bag, which we've already talked about the Sidekick, but I've been using it. Have some updated thoughts. Main segment today, holiday gift guide. I think we did this last year too, didn't we? Yeah.
Was it for Christmas or was it for Thanksgiving?
I don't know, but we've got all the Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales going right now, so I thought it'd be a good time to talk about that. What would we recommend people spend their money on with the best deals out there?
I used your code.
Did you use my code? For what?
I bought another Vatic VSOL.
Okay, nice. I saw it come through.
Did you?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. I think
but-
it was $90, something crazy like that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that too. So there's some crazy deep cuts out there for some amazing paddles. And I'm going to get a little nerdy today on some gear deep dive. We're going to talk about paddle frame flex once again. And I've got some new ball COR, coefficient of restitution data. So we're going to stack up not only the lifetime, but it looks like maybe 15 others compared to it.
Okay.
And this is the proper way of measuring a ball's basically firepower. So we're going to do our two fun facts, our deep thoughts with Jack Handy segment again this week.
All right.
And a little Q&A to wrap it up.
Awesome.
Eddie, I've got no latest news, gear gossip this week. Do you?
No, but I have a deep thought for you from Jack Handy.
Okay. Are we going to save that for the last?
No,
or-
let's just do it now since you brought it up.
So we're doing our two.
No, this is totally
Okay, all right.
unrelated.
Let's do some deep thoughts, Eddie.
Yeah, so intro me with that, deep thoughts.
Deep thoughts with Jack Handy.
To me, clowns aren't funny. In fact, they're kind of scary. I wondered where this started, and I think it goes back to the time I went to the circus and a clown killed my dad.
I remember that one.
Deep thoughts from Jack Handy.
I still remember that one. Yeah, that was a great.
We could do
SNL
another one at the end of the show if you
segment.
like. Keep people tuned in.
I like it. Flawless execution, Eddie.
Thank you.
All right. And no paddles of the week this week either.
What'd you play with this week?
I'm still on the Selkirk boomstick as my main.
Okay.
Testing out some prototypes. Been working with some. I don't want to chat it like spill the beans yet, but helping out a company in particular with some choices on a full foam paddle. So
Cool.
More coming soon on that. What about you? What are you playing with this week?
This week I played with the 6-0 Coral.
Okay. You liking it?
Me likey.
All right, well, updated thoughts real quick. What are your thoughts on the Coral?
It's just it feels better and better every time I play with it. Buttery soft, still got good power. And the sweet spot, I've been doing the boomstick setup now on it. When I first played with it, it was basically stock.
Yeah.
But boomstick setup, extra dry grip on top, and it's primo.
I like it. All right.
Yes. And I like the new shape. That long handle shape is very nice.
Oh, you're doing the elongated.
Yep.
That's right. Okay. Well, good stuff. Good to hear that. Is it breaking in a bit? Loosening it up?
I would say the sweet spot's actually getting wider, I would say.
Okay.
But the power level's staying pretty consistent.
Okay.
Spin's holding true.
Where are you putting that firepower level on the Coral these days?
I would say it's on the low to mid power scale.
So in the high power category
Yes.
and low
Maybe on
part
the
of
low
that.
side,
Okay.
yep.
Yeah, that was my recollection of it too. I've been playing with it too. I'm going to try to get a review out this week of it because I think it's coming out Thursday or Friday of this week. So
It's going to be a big seller.
yeah, I think it's gonna be a popular paddle. Alrighty, let's do something this week, Eddie, and talk about our favorite safety glasses, protective eyewear for indoor use. Now, an issue I've had using any kind of glasses indoors is ghosting, and that's when, and I actually did a little research on that. It was surprising me that when you look up at the lights and you see, a ghosting effect where, you see the actual lights and then offset from that, like another duplicate version of those lights or anything bright. It's actually the lights shining through your glasses, reflecting off of your eyeball and then back into the interior of the glasses. That's the reflection you're seeing. So I was looking, and they do make, like, if you go get your regular prescription glasses, you can get a coating on those for non-glare is one way to put it. Non-reflective is another way to put it. But I'm surprised that I've yet to find any pickleball glasses or sports safety glasses that actually advertise that. Now, you can take it into your optometrist and have it done, but you'd think, especially for pickleball, you're playing a lot of indoors, that would be a common option. But that's been my main stumbling block with indoor glasses.
I wonder if your eye color plays a role in that, because you have very light-colored eyes, which I'm guessing is more reflective than my almost black eyes, which just suck up light.
the
black holes.
I never thought about that, but yeah, it's probably the case. Lighter color eyes, the people with lighter color eyes probably have issues with ghosting. The other issue is my color blindness. Any kind of tint on the glasses doesn't work for me. I don't know if it works for other people, but there are tints built for indoor pickleball, tennis, sports, and any kind of tint just darkens the room for me and makes things harder to tell. The only one I've had any luck with, and I need to look this up, but the Project Rudy, I actually misplaced them. I'm so mad. They happened in Dallas. I don't have my other ones, but they're like a rose-colored tint, and they are the photochromic, so they get darker and lighter. But that rose color gets so light inside that I'm able to use it. I would prefer clear, but that was the closest I've had for a tint that actually worked indoors for me. Otherwise, it's all clear lenses only for me. The issue is I see a lot of ghosting in all clear lenses.
Gotcha.
Eddie, why don't you walk us through? You got a selection of glasses here. So,
well, I'll just respond to your comment about the tint in that for me, like, I started with these Oakleys because they're just so comfortable. And these lenses, if I understand the story correctly, were created for the Winter Olympics. They have a lot of nighttime events, and so they created this like low light tint color for those circumstances. And I wore these for a long time, but I discovered over the time that, like you, any level of tint for a place like Pickler that's very dark to begin with, it's too much.
Okay, yeah.
It's too much. And so I have also gone to a fully clear lens.
Can I see what these look like looking through them? Yeah, I mean, definitely it takes away a lot of the color and the vibrancy of the paddles on the wall behind you. But, yeah.
Yeah, but for protective glasses, these are great. I've been wearing these Briodes with the clear lens. Some. I would say that the strength of Briode is in their outdoor glasses because it really kind of bumps up the contrast. But for me, indoors, while these I can see great out of, I do pick up the frame pretty much 360 degrees around my eyes.
These are the totally clear or the dinkum?
Those are the
slightly tinted.
Totally clear.
Okay. I have the dinkum, which are like they look tannish to me, but yeah. Yeah, I have Briodes in my lineup too. I'll talk about my impression of these two. But yeah,
these are super comfortable, but you do see the frame.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, these frame components aren't removable. So either that works for you or it doesn't.
Okay.
They are introducing another frame style, I think, early next year. So really looking forward to that.
All right.
So my go-to nowadays are these Rudy Project. This is called the Cut Line. And these are fully clear, fully protective. I can't see anything other than what I'm looking at. There's no frame in my vision.
Right.
And they're a little bit dirty at the moment, but these are just so nice in terms of coverage.
Yeah. I put these on I think you had a tinted version of
I
these
did.
lenses
Yep.
outside.
I had the exact photochromic rose.
Okay. Yeah,
that you were
outside they're
talking about.
fantastic too because I love not having any frame in my peripheral. Yeah, I'm not even seeing
Those look
these.
fantastic on you.
Nice. Finally found one that don't make me look silly. But I need to test these for ghosting. I see a little bit of ghosting here in the studio. But what are the lenses called? The totally clear ones? I
They're
didn't
just
even know
clear.
they had those. They're just, okay. They're called
yeah.
clear. Okay. I was looking on Rudy's website and didn't see those. But
And these frames are, I mean, some glasses are very difficult to take the lenses in and out of, but there's just a push
man.
button on here.
That's
It
awesome.
makes it very simple. Obviously, all kinds of different colors. And these are highly adjustable, the earpieces,
Okay.
as well as the nose, are all that sort of embedded wire.
The Project Rudy's are some of the most comfortable fitting
They're
glasses.
amazing.
Yeah.
The Ride-On, these are the Cut Line, the Trailix, all great for pickleball.
Yeah.
As far as I know, they're all available in clear.
Okay. Nice.
Yep.
So those are your go-to.
These are my go-tos.
You don't
right
have any
now.
problem with ghosting?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, if I'm looking directly into a downward facing light, it's got to be a problem no matter what I'm wearing.
Right.
But I think indoor places are getting better at doing more diffuse light, doing uplighting. So hopefully that becomes a more common trend that we see.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'll try out those clear lenses. I did not have the Project Rudy's in my list, besides speaking briefly about the ones that I lost, the other ones with the rose-colored glasses, because these are too dark for indoor. But I do want to say that I've been using these for months now since you first introduced me to them, and I wanted to thoroughly test them out before we recommended them or got a discount code or anything like that, because they are expensive. They're $250 glasses, right? But I am glad to say that I'm loving these for outdoor. I want to test the clear for indoor. Enough to reach back out to them and said, hey, can we get an affiliate code set up? So I think that's in the works. So we may have a certain percentage discount with Project Rudy moving forward, because I think, there are others that in the 200 plus price range, Briodes and Rayas that, we do recommend also. I have no problem recommending these for that price range, because plus they have a ton of shapes. You can get like ones without the frames at all, to these, which are kind of to have the frames on top, to more sleek looking ones. So a lot of options. So good stuff but let's get back to the topic, which is my favorite indoor. So like you, I've been using Briode for a good while. Very fond of their glasses, and highly recommended, like you said, especially for outdoor. These are the ones that are tinted. These lenses, I think they're called the Dinkums. They're recommended for indoors, and they're slightly tinted. What color tint is this? Kind of a tannish?
It's a little bit brownish in this light, but it's
Okay,
really hard
brownish.
to tell.
Yeah, and this does a pretty good job to me of filtering light. But like I said, any kind of tint on an indoor glasses just makes the room a little bit darker to me. But you can let me know what you see through there in terms of brightening or dimming the room.
Yeah, I would say it's like a 5 to 10% dimming.
Yeah, I would agree. And the other issue with these, as well as the totally clear ones, is that I do get some very noticeable ghosting when I'm looking up at the lights indoors with these. So I would love it. I know Briode's working on some new frames. I would love it if they included an option for anti-glare coating on their lenses. I feel like...
Have you found that anti-glare works, though, for your issue?
I don't know. I've never had any glasses that use it, but I've read enough about it and read comments from users. They're like, yes, I struggled so much with this before. After this coating, it's 100% better, right? So I think it works
to be a coating than to be a polarized lens, because that will take away your depth perception.
Yeah, exactly. Not something you want on a pickleball court.
Right.
These Rayas, also very fond of these for outdoor, and they, like Briodes, have some really cool color science in their lenses, and they make things pop. They have a 100% clear lens also, but I'm also struggling with ghosting on these. Like, these make everything, they seem like not having lenses at all. That's how good they look when there's no glare. But when I'm looking up in the lights, I do get some ghosting on these as well. And I would say that the Rayas are not the most comfortable glasses. That big rubber nose piece just hurts my nose after.
The temple's actually too small for me.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. And they're a little bit heavy on the nose.
Yeah, they're very kind of head heavy. Yeah. So couldn't use these indoor. I mean, I can, and they're good, but I wouldn't recommend these over others, especially for the price point. Apes. I've never really talked about these glasses, but I do like these outdoors. I'm going to look really silly wearing these, but similar to yours, I like how the frames. Yeah, I like how the frames are so wide I can barely see. I get a little bit underneath of the frames, but I like how wide the glasses are.
Oh man, those are gigantic.
They are gigantic.
They protect your ears as well as your eyes.
The issue with these indoors, these are totally clear lenses, but I still see some ghosting on these. So
I actually like the kind of the smoked glass look of the frames.
Yeah, they're pretty sleek looking. Yeah, those look like straight up goggles.
I'm ready for the welding tour.
Yeah,
the PWA.
Which brings me to, and these are my surprise winners. I've been sitting on these carbon glasses for a good while, and these are photochromic. And normally, I don't like photochromic, especially for indoor, because hardly ever do they get down to 0% shading. But these, as far as I can tell, are completely clear in the dark. Yet, these are the only ones that I have that I can wear indoors, and I have no ghosting. No ghosting problems with these, or I should say very little. I see a little bit of ghosting, but it's so minimal, it's almost unnoticeable. So these are the
Drift.
Thank you.
I'm just looking at their website.
Okay.
Anti-fog, anti-scratch. Currently $80.
Yeah. Which, for these glasses, I think is a good deal because they do get darker. They don't get super dark, so you can't wear them in the brightest of lights outside if your eyes are sensitive to that. But the flip side of that, which is a perk to me, is that they get clear indoors. So these have been my go-to indoor glasses because of the anti-glare effect. They don't advertise anti-glare, but for whatever reason, these lenses...
3 lenses with this kit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so...
Let me take a look.
They got these reflective ones, which are very dark when you look through them, and then they've got, are these rose-colored or brown?
Kind of amber.
Okay, yeah, and then these brown ones, which for both of these are outdoor.
I don't know that I would do blue.
This one's a little bit.
I think this is more traditional for tennis and pickleball.
Yeah, these are like really dark. But good deal, and I think you can stack codes right now. They're $80 on this Black Friday, and I think you can take another 10% off that with our code.
Nice.
Yeah. So, good job, Carbon. And I like the looks of these too. Carbon made those other frames as well. To me, these are just a little more classy.
I don't know if I can pull this off. Let's see.
Yeah, they look good on you. Really nice. You look sophisticated, Eddie.
Can we talk lines?
You should have done the deep thoughts with Jack Handy wearing those. Very good.
They're comfortable and light.
Yeah. They knocked them out of the park with that. They've been sleepers for me. I've been sitting on them for a while, and I was just like pulling out. I had this idea of like testing out different glasses for indoors, and I found those in my stash over here. I'm like, oh, God, I totally forgot about these.
We'll give these a try, these Rudies.
Yes. Good stuff. All right. We got a lot of products to cover.
Yeah, we do.
Here, let's move into our next section, which is going to be more gear of the week. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about the Neonic Sidekick bag, and then we have a new backpack from Bodhi. So this one, by the way, it says sold out on the website. It was supposed to go on sale today. I don't know if they already sold out because they've been getting some buzz. Or, why don't you check and see if they're up yet. They were supposed to have already been up for sale this morning. And these, you can see it looks nice. And it's about, it's a carry-on size bag. We'll get into the specs in a second, but it's $110 before code. And the look of this bag, the quality of build of this, just seems like a $200 plus bag. So first of all, that is an incredible value. The capacity of this, it's 27 liters stock, which is on the small side, but you can expand it to up to 35 liters with this expandable zipper on the outside. So one cool thing about the zipper too is that it's blacked out. All the other zippers that have open to pockets have the white Neonic logo. This one's totally blacked out. That's how you know it's not a pocket zipper. And you can unzip it all the way around to add another 3 inches of kind of accordion-like 3 inches on the bag here to increase your capacity by nearly 10 liters. It goes from 27 up to 35 liters. I also like just going kind of halfway with the expandable zipper. So instead of going all the way around, I'll bring it up to the top here because you can leave the top kind of sleek, and compact, and the bottom accordions out a little bit to accommodate other things. So you might be asking, what other things do you want to put in there? Well, this is the only pickleball backpack carry-on size on the market that has a shoe compartment built into it right now. Right. So this is the front shoe compartment. I forgot to bring my shoes. And at first I was like, I can't fit shoes in there, but you can actually fit. And so I wear size 11 and they fit in there just fine, especially when you pop open the bottom, unzip the bottom expandable part. You put them in there kind of like your shoes arrive in the box. So get a nested, spooned into each other. So one goes in with the toe side in first, the other nests against that with the heel side down, and I can fit my size 11 shoes in here, no problem. You kind of zip it up, on both sides to cinch it, and then you can, cinch it around the top. And
it's ventilated.
Yeah, they have ventilation in it right here, and just a ton of features on this besides what I've already talked about. So, expandable water bottle. Pockets on the side. You cannot fit oversized bottles in this, but you can, there's going to be some trade-offs with the size of the bag. There are stretchy mesh pockets for balls or keys or cell phones. So you got another duplicate pockets on this side. There is a dedicated laptop sleeve, which is padded in the back here. You can also, it doubles as a paddle sleeve, obviously, if you don't carry your laptop with you. And this rear pocket is full of features, so a ton of organization. These stretchy mesh pockets again. More stuff here. Oh boy, I have a problem with hooks catching onto my shirt. There is a hidden pocket up here if you want to put like your Apple, what are they called? iTags?
AirTag? Yeah.
AirTag. That's a good place for that. And more of the stretchy pockets up here, mesh pocket down here. All right, the main compartment, which is where most people are going to store their paddles. Oh, another perk. A nice, bright silver interior. It's not so dark when you open it. But I've got these. So I've got 2 dedicated sleeves for the paddles here, and there's plenty of space inside, as you saw, for just paddles to linger. They got 4 stretchy pockets on either side, another mesh zipper pocket here, 2 more stretchy pockets up here. I love having this kind of organization, this kind of options for organization, because what happens with, some of the other bags I've used with just kind of a large interior compartment, but not that many options for organization, is I just kind of throw everything in there, and then you're constantly having to like fish around, or if there's something on the bottom, you got to pull everything else out first, but you just know, you don't even have to look, you just know where your stuff is. You can reach in and grab your stuff, which I find.
So I noticed when you opened that up, John, that you just had paddles kind of falling out. Is there a space for paddles that's organized in there?
Well, those 2 sleeves here, and then if you're not using your laptop, there's another sleeve in the back. Otherwise, that's so 3 sleeves dedicated to paddles if you're not using the laptop. Otherwise, it's 2 sleeves for dedicated paddles and then some other loose things. In the back, you got another side pocket here.
That's a great wallet spot.
Yeah, good spot for your wallet and personal items. You've got a luggage slide-on thing. You've got another pocket down here for
The
like
loose stuff in there is
passports.
so organized.
Yeah. You got to get dialed in. I've lost some stuff before because I just started using it this week, and I'm like, God, where did I put this stuff? There's another side pocket up front with a dedicated keychain, which I've come to love these because if you don't have a place to always put your keys, I tend to put it in different places, and then I'm going out to my car, like looking around. So, I mean, just a ton of organizational space for this. I think it looks good. The straps for the backpack are very comfortable. There's plenty of padding on the back. It feels great on your back. There's just almost nothing to complain about on this. My only one thing that I would rather see on this, but I understand why they didn't do it. This big clamshell opening is not the easiest. You can, when you unzip it just partially, it's kind of hard to get in. So you gotta go all the way, and then you got, it's just I like the flap design on top that just opens and you can see down in it. But I do understand that to get all of this organizational space and the design of this to be so sleek, they had to do, because if you had a flap, you wouldn't be able to have this back compartment for the laptop to slide into unless they did it sideways, and then you're losing some space on this back pocket. So I understand why they did that. However, that's my only pet peeve on this otherwise nearly perfect bag. So I'm duly impressed with this.
And dual large fence hanger hooks. I hate fence hanger hooks when they're tiny little things and you got to struggle to get them in and out. Those are beefy and they're large.
Yeah.
And the minimalist branding is something I always appreciate. I don't like bags with logos all over them or quotes, or just keep it simple. Love it.
100%. Great bag.
How are the zippers?
They are waterproof zippers. They feel high quality. I didn't see any YKK reference. I don't know if they're actually using that brand, but so far so good on the zippers. I don't see any potential flimsiness or breakage due to the zippers. And the zip pulls they seem so far like they're going to stay onto the zipper. They're this rubber Neonic logoed pull tab, and they seem to be on there really well. So.
And 3-year warranty, that's amazing.
How is it? I didn't even see that.
Yep.
3-year warranty. Dang. That is standing behind your product. I love that everything's double stitched also, and the top strap. That's one of these things I've come to. It becomes a pet peeve for me when it's very flimsy and kind of it just doesn't feel good. This one's actually neoprene so it's a soft foam and it's beefy and it's really nice to hold the bag with this top strap.
Would that fit in there?
Let's see. So this is
28. Come on. Yeah.
Not too shabby. Yeah, that stretch is big enough,
That's on the large size for a water bottle.
Yeah.
Nice.
So good stuff from Neonic. Well, I'll talk more about this in our holiday gift guide because they are running some sales on that right now.
Nice.
But $110 before code, and 10% off that brings it down to $100. All right, let's move on. Bodhi sent their new backpack, which this one is $125 before code, so you can take another 10% off with code. And this one is a little more spacious, clearly, than the Neonic. So when the Neonic is expanded, you can go up to 35 liters. This is 40 liters by itself. And, a bunch of good things about this one, too. So the main compartment opens up on the top here, and it's light and interior, so you can see in it very well. And it's just this big, spacious compartment. I say this competes really well with the 6.0 backpack, that red one. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4 dedicated paddle sleeves, and then a bunch of space beyond that. And even though it's very spacious inside, I don't know if I can get the camera to show down here, but there's a ton of organization. There are 3 zippered pockets on this side, 4 stretchy pockets on the sides for balls, etc. Easy to fit your shoes down in the bottom. They have a dedicated, well, that's not a dedicated shoe pouch. This is your refrigerator, basically. But you can fit your shoes in the main compartment. These stretchy pockets on the side are freaking massive. Like, I can literally fit my Stanley.
That is crazy.
In there very easily. There's 2 balls on the bottom of that. 3 balls. That's a massive, massive pocket. on the sides, which I find I love these, and the little straps here and there. I would say that the backpack straps are a little flimsy compared to the Neonics. It is comfortable, however, when you put it on. They're wide enough where it doesn't feel like it's pinching you. But I would like to see a little bit more padding in those. They have the luggage strap here as well. YKK zippers throughout. It's all good quality materials. So YKK zippers, 1000D Cordura shell. The bottom is a TPU texture coated nylon to give it a little bit of resilience and water resilience and scratch resilience. Double stitched seams throughout. Like I said, lots of organization. And overall, I've been using this, as a replacement for that 6-0 bag that I typically carry around, and I've been quite happy with it.
Just when you want to dump and run, just throw everything in there.
Yeah, exactly. These two together are like for me, because I'm always carrying a ton of paddles and stuff, and maybe one tripod and a camera. 2 bags is essential for me, and these two have been ticking the boxes for me.
So I see $125 on that online. Or any Black Friday deals on that?
Yeah, we'll talk about those in the next segment. But he's going to have a sale running for just 3 days. I think Black Friday to Cyber Monday, and there's going to be 20% off. I think is the sale plus my code stacks with that. So basically 30% off of everything in their catalog. Yeah, so good stuff. I feel like the backpacks dedicated for pickleball are coming a long way. And I feel like pickleball is a unique space for these because you can make a really cool bag dedicated for pickleball that is also the size that you can carry onto a plane. Unlike tennis, where you got those massive rackets, right? And you can't really do that. You got to check your tennis bags. So this kind of opens up a potential for companies to kind of innovate and make really cool bags, and I think we're starting to really see the blossoming of that innovation right now. So, you know me, I'm a bag person.
I've traveled with many a bag, and some I have to admit are probably over the size limit. Sure. Haven't been caught yet.
Right. All righty, Eddie, shall we move on?
Let's go.
Main segment this week is our holiday gift guide. So Black Friday is upon us. It has been going for a lot of companies all month and basically will go to the end of the year. But some are doing it more strict, starting it on Black Friday, which is going to be coming soon. But a lot of them kicked in today, like Carbon, Diadem. They just released their Black Friday deals, and I have a roundup on my website. I'll link to that again, so it's constantly being updated. But I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of give everybody our kind of gift recommendations, because now's the season to buy things if you want to do it on a discount and you're not scrambling right before Christmas to gift everybody, right? I love it. So what we're going to do is we have categories starting at $5. We're going to go up to $10, $20, $25. I don't know if I put 25 in there, but
no, 20 to 30.
Okay, 20 to
but
30.
It's all ish, right?
Ish, yeah.
Ish.
It's kind of brackets. 40, 50, then you go up to 100, then 200, then 300, and then sky is the limit. Money is no consideration.
All right.
So we did not look over each other's shoulder. We didn't compare notes.
Nope. I didn't even look at your Black Friday deal list to create my list.
Okay, good.
Just things that I enjoy that I think somebody else might too.
I like it. Yep. So let's start with the $5 category. Yeah. And Eddie, do you have anything in the $5 range?
Yeah, but before we start, I want to just preface my list by saying, I think for people like us, John, and probably our listeners, we're kind of paddle people. And so for me, I didn't put any paddles on my list because paddles are such a personal thing, It's like you can't even say what model you want because there's probably going to be a 14 or 16 millimeter variant, right? And so it gets pretty complicated. And if you're not really specific to your gift giver, you might be a little disappointed. I don't know.
Yeah.
I got I shared a picture in the notes, a picture from one of my wife's coworkers of his refrigerator. And it's kind of like one of those OSHA statements, we haven't had an injury for X number of days. It says, I haven't bought a paddle for 18 days. And it's just indicative of just how particular pickleball people are.
Sure.
Yeah. So, Steve, thanks for the photo. Appreciate it. And we'll make sure you get the right paddle for Christmas time, but not for this list.
Send that to me. I'll put it up.
Yep. Sounds good.
But yeah, you're right, Eddie. I think, for paddle enthusiasts, people are they're not probably going to be getting gifts blindly. They're going to ask for a specific paddle if they're not buying for themselves. But I think, like the deep cuts on Black Friday, we can get a great paddle for $40 or something. Stick in a stocking stuffer or to give to somebody who's just starting pickleball.
That's perfect.
Yeah, so
right?
Really good stuff.
Yep. Same reason I didn't put shoes on the list because those are also very personal.
True.
Right. Okay, so my $5 item are these My Paddle bands. I'm sure you've seen them online. What are these, like silicone?
Yeah, they're silicone bands.
They're about $5-6 each. I tend to buy them by the half dozen or so. These things are so durable. I think I've had this band for 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah.
I move them all the time between paddles. It's got my phone number here, so in case I give a paddle to somebody to use or I lose a paddle for some reason, my information's on there. But these things are so freaking durable.
Nice.
And I hate it when like that overgrip tape comes loose and you got these loose ends fraying all about. That just keeps it all literally under wraps.
Yep.
And it's fantastic quality. I bought other bands and the ink runs or, this part fades away. But I mean, come on, 3 or 4 years with this one is ridiculous.
No, I love it. And I remember that's one of the gifts you got me early on when we first started playing together. You got me, actually, it was after my first paddle review. You got me one that said Kew on it.
So,
and, I think I still have that.
It's so simple, but it's actually a nice indexing thing, too. I always know exactly where my finger's supposed to be on the paddle when it's there.
Okay. It's funny. I cannot play with those bands anymore on the paddle. Yeah, because I started overwrapping with my overgrip, and then I just got used to that. And every time I put a band on, it's just like it cuts into my hand too much, right? It's just a weird feel to me. But
different strokes, John.
Yeah, but there's never any kind of confusion on which paddles are yours on the court.
100%.
Right. All right. Anything else on your $5 list?
That's it.
All right. So on my $5 list, I've got Chorus is doing deep cuts on their website, mostly because of that branding issue. They have to get rid of all their branded C items. But this is unrelated to that, but it's still a deep cut. They have lead tape 3-gram pods, a 10-pack of those for $3 for Black Friday. Now, for $3, I'll do these all day, right? So those are going to go fast. So I would recommend jumping on and buying those up. I don't know how many packs he has, but great deal there. Also, Body Helix has their UV arm sleeves, which are great.
I almost put that on my list.
For $6. $6 to pair,
Awesome.
which that's a really good deal. Those are, when I was wearing arms, now I use a sun hoodie always because it protects the back of my neck. But back when I was using the arm sleeves to protect my arms, those are my favorites for sure. Like the Body Helix, they fit great and look nice too.
If I wore those types of things, I would be able to give my impressions of them. But because I don't wear them, I didn't feel comfortable adding it to my list. But they are very high quality, and I've given them away to folks, and they love them.
Yeah, for sure. All right, that's my list. $10. What do you got, Eddie?
So, can never have too many balls. I think you can get a 3-ball sleeve of Lifetime balls for about a dozen, maybe $13. That's easy, right?
Yeah.
And everybody can always use more balls. And speaking of which, the soft foam balls, like the Gamma
Library.
Yeah. I think those are about a dozen dollars. And they're great to have around for, hitting against the wall inside. I've taken them on trips and hit them around in the airport. Like you set up a row of chairs as an impromptu net. And you just have a good time.
Yeah.
And it's not intrusive like a pickleball would be.
And you get a lot of attention.
Yes, you do.
Those are a ton of fun to play real games with too.
Because of the spin?
Just to throw them in, because the spin is nuts. You can just wail on those, the craziest top spin, and it just gets this big rainbow arc,
I gave one to a coworker as well. He has a 3-year-old, and the 3-year-old's just, hitting stuff around the house willy-nilly, and so it's great for apartment living too.
I dig it. All right.
How about you, John?
Yeah. So for $10, I would recommend Bodhi grips. Now, they are normally $10 for a 4-pack, but you can get 25% off site-wide on their 3-day Black Friday run, which is November 28th through 30th. And if you miss that window, then you can always get 10% off with code Johnkew, bringing it down to $8 for a pack of 4, which for Bodhi grips is a fantastic deal. Also, Pickleball Effect, they're running a deal on their tuning tape. I think it's starting Thursday, if my memory is serving me well, which is 20% off site-wide, stacking with code Johnkew for an additional 10% off, which brings their 0.5 gram per inch package of tuning tape down to $10.50, and their 1 gram per inch down to $11.90.
That's close to half price, right?
Yeah, pretty deep cut on those. So, 30% off. So, good deal on those for sure. Lastly, Pickle is running Black Friday sale starting this Thursday. 35% off their Pickle Pro Skins. And if you wanted to try those, that's a great opportunity because you get one set, which is 2, one for each side of your each face of your paddle for $12.99. If you want to go for 5 sets, that costs $45.50. So I think that's a good deal. I think your seat's low, Eddie. You just
James Zaganovich was in here again.
You keep sinking down on me.
I'm sitting on the floor.
Yeah, there's a lever over there. There we go. But yeah, those things, they do rip spin. They do add about 5 swing weight points to your paddle. So that's a consideration. But if, in my mind, they're great for either protecting your grid. If you have a brand new peel pipe paddle, you don't want to wear it down so quickly, or refurbishing one that's already worn out. Like if you have a paddle on the wall like our friend Keaton has 5 Yola Pro 4s, Perseus Pro 4s, because the grit keeps wearing down. That'd be a perfect opportunity if he doesn't mind the extra swing weight to take one of those off the wall or out of his old backpack and refurbish the spin on those. And they get elite tier spin. Now, they're not tournament approved, so you can't take them to USAP or PPA. Nevertheless, I think they're great options. All right, let's move up to $20.
Okay. You want to go first? Or you want me to go?
Yeah, I'll go first on this one. So for $20, I would recommend Pickleball Mindset, the book by Dane Gingrich and Joe Martin.
That's a good choice.
Which, I found that to be one of these books I just couldn't put down because I am interested in the mental game. It's such a mental sport we have, similar to tennis, and I've devoured all of the, when I was in high school even, all of the tennis mindset books, right? Dealing with the mental game of tennis. And this one is specific to pickleball, and I think they did a really good job. And for $20, that's for the paperback, or if you're you have an Audible subscription, you can use one of your credits to buy that.
What I like about that book is kind of the dual perspectives that are in there. I mean, you have his point of view, but he's got one of his, I guess, clients' points of view as well.
Right.
And it's nice to see kind of both sides of the philosophies and the advice given.
Yeah, for sure. That's been a very influential book and for me this year. One other thing on a $20 list, Selkirk lightweight hoodies are on sale for $20, which I think is a great deal. Selkirk actually makes really good clothing, and because it's very high quality. I put their quality comparable to Viore style, and they're not cheap, but there's a deep cut. Normally, I think they're $58. They're cut down to $20, and that's sun protection too, so UPF 50.
All right.
Yeah.
They do have excellent clothes and shoes.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I've got the TheraBand Flex Bar. Have you ever seen this?
Yeah, I remember those.
This is great for like tennis elbow rehab. Mm-hmm. So it works the negative side of your musculature, right? So
the eccentric movement.
Twist it that way, and then let it off slowly until you get that stretch right up in here.
Yeah,
and it feels good, and it does serve to rehab that tennis elbow problem you might be working with.
Right.
Since I keep this in the office, so when I'm at a conference call or something, I'm just kind of under the desk working my motorcycle throttle. But since I've been using it, no tennis elbow. So that's entirely anecdotal, but seems to be effective.
Very good, yeah.
$21, I think.
All right.
And the other thing on my list, for giggles, you can get a custom head cover for about $20 on Amazon. This is AI's version of me riding a dinosaur. So this was a gift to me last year, and it cracks me up every time I see it. But
who gave it to you?
I think it was my wife or son or somebody close.
So they had Chat GPT back then, or
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Image generator, and I don't think Chat GPT knows what pickleball is. you stare closely at the paddle. But Northern doesn't know what I look like, so
Eddie riding a dinosaur. You could sell those. You should start your own merch store, and that could be one of your main items.
I gotta start working the upper body to get that guy's cut looks. But $20 well spent, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I forgot to mention I have a $25 item, but that falls in the $20 range. So, or you could put it in the 30. So Slice sliders, I would.
Bam.
Yeah, they have a Black Friday sale and code Johnkew stacks for an additional 10%. So you can get those things for $24 right
Dang it, I just bought those.
Did you?
Suck.
So that drops it down to the $20 range. And for the, like, honestly, even if you don't use those permanently, like you said on last week's pod or a couple weeks ago, they're great for getting it dialed in where you actually want to put the weight, you know? And so they sell them 5 grams each or 7.5 grams each. And I would definitely go the 5 gram route if you're not sure, because there are very few paddles I feel like you can use the 7.5s on, because most of them aren't lightweight enough. 7.5s all day on the Rhombus Quanta, but for most other paddles, 5 grams do really well. But yeah, just kind of dialing in where your tolerance for swing weight and twist weight is, and then you can take them off and put them on the next paddle, and then slap on the equivalent weight and tungsten or lead as a more permanent thing. Or you can use them permanently. Most people don't switch paddles as much as you and I do, so those are perfectly fine. They've yet to slip on any of my paddles. Yeah, and I think they look great too. So that's my recommendation.
Just don't use them on edgeless paddles. Doesn't do much good.
Yeah. So they come in 14 and 16 millimeters.
Yep. Dang, you got to tell me about these things before I hit the buy button.
That's right.
I have one more thing on my $30 list.
Okay. Let's hear it.
And this is from Pickleball Central. They sell a giant pickleball. It's like that big. And, you know, they ship it in 2 halves, so it's much slimmer line.
Yeah.
But once together, it's pretty sizable. I would say it's about that big.
Wow.
It's great for gift giving. So if you're going to buy somebody a shirt or a hoodie or something, you shove it in there, you seal it up, and it's a really like impressive way to give a gift.
Oh, like a box. For
yeah,
the gift.
exactly.
That's
exactly.
pretty slick. I like it. I got some more $30 ones. So the brand Gherkin is having a Black Friday sale where they're actually selling their prototypes. So some of the prototypes that they've been working on and didn't put out to market, or the pre-production models, and they're blackout, so they have no graphics on them. And they're selling Gen 3 hybrid-shaped prototypes, so some kind of, floating core with polypropylene, honeycomb, or foam enhancements around that honeycomb. So you can take 30% off of those, plus stack another 10% off with Johnkew, and it brings them down to $28.80. So under $30 for these Gherkin Blackout Gen 3 paddles. You don't know exactly what you're going to get, in terms of the technology. But if you for $30, it might be worth a shot, right?
Right.
One thing is these are not USAP approved, so not recommended for tournaments, clearly. But yeah, kind of a fun thing. Another item for $30. Is the Baller Performance Tee from Bread and Butter. I have 2 of these that I've been wearing for 2 years now. In fact, I'm wearing one right now. So some of the best performance tees I've had, minimal logos on it and branding, which I also like, and they fit me well. I'm kind of on the tall, slim side, so take that in consideration. More of a tailored fit, but love these things. Normally I think they're $57, and now they're down to $30. So
that shirt has a crazy, unnatural cooling effect.
Yes,
too.
it does.
I mean, you put that thing on, you feel like you just strapped on an air conditioner. It's got a really weird but very interesting effect.
Yeah. So great price on those. Right now, I don't know how long they will be in stock. Another Chorus deal. So their Echo SX, that's their wide body, is $35 after code, which stacks with their Black Friday deals. And the last one I want to talk about is the 6-0 Outback hoodie, which
I haven't seen that one.
I used to wear that all the time, and I think I misplaced it, but I had the black one. I think they make other colors too. That's one of the plushest, softest interior of a hoodie I've ever had. It's literally it feels like felt almost. And I loved that thing. It's 50% off. That knocks it down to $35. So good recommendation there. Eddie, what do you have in your $40 range?
I have, John, there's a lot of products that kind of fit the bill, but you got to have a good water bottle.
Yeah.
Right. And so I use the Owala products for quite some time, and they're very versatile, and they do a great job. But I've come to learn that I don't like straws, whether they're kind of buried in the water bottle or done externally. I hate cleaning them, and I hate worried about like bacteria and stuff getting caught in there. So just a straight up, this is a Yeti. I've had this thing for forever. And I mean, there's ice in here that's from 2 days ago. It's crazy. This one's, I think, 28 ounces. It's about $40. This is an aftermarket Amazon lid, and it works great.
What happened to the original lid?
I think I lost it at some point.
Okay.
And rather than buying, the overpriced Yeti lid, the Amazon ones work great. But the bottle itself is it's a tank. It'll last forever.
It's amazing how far bottle technology has come.
I won't drink room temperature water. It has to be like 33 degrees.
I like it. I'm glad you put a water bottle in there. I didn't think about that. For $40, I have another Chorus deal. The Super Court SX, their wide body is $44 after code. So if you're wondering what's the difference between the Super Court and the Echo, they're similar, but the Super Court's more kind of all cord, and the Echo is more of a control-oriented paddle. But I mean, heck, for $35 to $45 for these paddles, these are performance paddles, no doubt. So instead of going to Amazon and looking for a beginner paddle for your friend who's just getting into pickleball and paying $30 for a piece of garbage, these, anybody could play with,
100%.
including pros, and play really well. The performance is there all day on these. So a great opportunity on these paddles. $50, Eddie.
I like insoles for $50.
Okay.
I have been using these Move Game Day Pro insoles, and these are great for just a little bit of stability. There's some cushioning here, but it's real. I mean, there's a hard, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Thermoplastic.
Some kind of,
Yeah, but it does provide a bit of stability, a little bit of arch support. So these, I would say, if you're in need of some support, but if you don't need a ton of support, and I usually don't, the blue Macas are just undeniable. I mean, the grip on those, the cushioning is fantastic, and I think you can get those for about $50.
Yeah, I didn't put these in my list. I should have, but they're running a Black Friday sale right now, where if you buy one of the sticky top ones, I forget what they call them, you'll get one of the cloth top ones for free.
Okay.
So basically 2 for 1 right now.
I think the one we like is they're just the performance insoles.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they run $60, or we have a 10% code now, so you can get it down a little bit from that. But 2 for 1 is a really good deal for those. Have you tried the ones with the firm arches and more supportive ones? Okay, yeah, but they're not quite as firm as those.
Correct.
Is that what you're saying? Gotcha. Yeah. So there is some support on these. They're not just the totally floppy ones you've seen us play around with on the podcast. I'll be talking more about these blue Macas as we progress in the podcast, because I do think they're pretty exceptional insoles. Where are we at? 50.
We are at 50.
Okay. More Chorus stuff. They've got such great deals right now. So the Chorus Phoenix prototype, you can get it 2 for $100. 2 for $100, which makes them $50 each. So if you like the Chorus Phoenix, if
that's
you like
ridiculous.
Really poppy paddle, now they're prototypes. So technically they're not USAP approved, right? But if you're playing with the Phoenix and you don't want to wear down the grit on that one, preserve the grit, or the durability of it, then this is a good opportunity to have 2 for $50 each. And
that is a sick deal.
Yeah, and then also the original Chorus shapeshifters, so including that Aerotop curve one that we have, that 18K triaxial weave, and the 3 new shapes. All of those are $50 to $60 each right now, which is pretty phenomenal. Now that's like a kind of a control paddle these days, but really, really solid performer. That was our favorite paddle for
Just
like 6
about.
months, right? Our main paddle. All right, let's jump up to $100. What do you got, Eddie?
You can do a lot with $100. I mean, there's tons of paddles out there. I won't get into that for reasons previously stated, but you could do a lot of good with $100. I've got the forward cross-court sling bag that I've talked about before. This thing, if you're just carrying 1 or 2 paddles to the court, gets the job done. It's very high quality. It's got that weatherproof bottom. It's got plenty of space in there for a couple of paddles. And the one-strap sling, not for everybody, but I love it. Throwing it over your shoulder, piece of cake, and it's got that awesome magnetic buckle that makes, getting it back together just a breeze.
Nice. Yeah.
Put a magnet on something and I'll pay 20% extra.
Say what? Put a what?
Put a magnet on something.
Oh, magnet. Yeah,
I'm
that's
sold.
right.
But that's $80 for about $120, $130. I really like having one of those small percussion massage guns in my bag, just for those quick tune-ups on those sore muscular spots during a tournament or just a long match. Yobo's got a really nice offering. I like the one from Roll Recovery, and they're about $120.
Okay.
Oh man, here I go. I'm on the floor again.
We've got to get new chairs for the office here. All right, for $100, I get a few paddle options. So normally great discounts or great prices to begin with on the retail versions of the Rhombus Quanta and the Vatic V-Sol Pro, 2 phenomenal paddles, both for $100 after code. They're running sales for Rhombus November 26th through December 2nd, so starting this Thursday, and for Vatic November 27th through the 2nd, so starting Friday, for an additional $10 off these paddles with code. So you can get them now for $90 during this window. So highly recommended on those. 11624 Jelly Bean, $80 after code right now during Black Friday sales. Another great offering if you like something that's not top tier power, but something a little more controllable. I've got the Neonic Sidekick bag, so they are running a sale starting today, and it's $89 after Black Friday plus our code. So amazing price for this elite bag. And I was hesitant to put any shoes in here too, and I was kind of looking for shoe sales, but the Diadem Court Burst shoes, Black Friday sale brings them down to $105. I think there's people that those shoes are going to be appealing to. I like them a lot also. That being said, you can get other, I would also highly recommend Babolat. They're doing 20% off sale for Black Friday. Or the Selkirk shoes, you can get those normally, the Court Strikes for $100, even without a code. So, but good to see Diadem dropping the price of their shoes for Black Friday. Now we're going to jump up to the $200 range here.
All right. John, you stole my thunder on bags, but I have an upscale version that I'm really enjoying. This is the ADV Flex Backpack. I mean, that color is just freaking awesome. It's like an ivory with some light green trim. I won't get into all the details, but the quality of all the ADV products is just over the top, durable, outstanding feel and look. Room for 3 paddles, laptop sleeve, and all the other goodies that you would expect from ADV. It's about $200, but in my mind, well worth it because this will last you the rest of your life.
Yeah. ADV is doing a Black Friday sale also. Go onto my website to check it out. If I recall correctly, they're giving gifts on a tiered scale depending on how much you spend. So like the Cube add-ons, they'll throw those in for free, and wristbands and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, their accessory bags are real nice too.
Yeah.
Another choice around the $200 mark. These Rudy projects are actually discounted for Black Friday. So these are coming in under $200 now. And as we've already discussed, Rudy project is really amazing.
Yeah. They're actually 35% off.
That's crazy.
During Black Friday, which is running now and going until either December 1st or maybe all the way to the end of the year. But yeah, these typically run $250-ish, and now they're down to $130s to $150s for all their glasses. Which I have those on my list also, Eddie.
Amazing.
Any more?
Nope.
$200
That's it for
range?
me for $200.
I've also got an ADV bag in the $200 range. So their Backpack V2, which is fantastic, and normally they run for $250. You can get that down to $225 with code plus the gifts. So again, these cubes and wristbands come for free with that. So if you want a bigger version with ADV, which like you said is one of the top quality options out there for bags, then it's a good option. 11624 Alpha Pro Power. We can get that down to below $200 now, so $150 after code during Black Friday sale. Also, I put in the Thrive Fury, which comes down to $160 during their Black Friday sale. So these paddles that normally you get for $200, now they're cut down to the mid 100s, which I think is nice. All right, Eddie, let's jump up to the $300 range. I had a hard time with this category.
This one was the easiest one.
Oh, was it? All right. What did you choose?
I've got a couple things on here, John. One is the Dink Master. I don't know if anybody knows about this, but it's basically a portable, transportable rebounder, right? And there's something about the way the ball comes back from, hitting against the surface. It's very lifelike, very snappy. I was playing around with yours while I was waiting for you to get your hair and makeup done, and it works. It's very effective.
Eddie's joking. I don't wear makeup. I was shaving.
Okay. I think that retails for $280. They may have some sales going on that would bring that down even lower.
All right.
The Spin Pro. If you're looking to kind of groove your top spin, or in the case of the Spin Pro, you could have any kind of orientation to work slice or side spin or anything like that. It's a great training tool to kind of groove that swing of yours.
Gotcha.
And then lastly, in the $300 category for all the pickleball nerds out there, 90% of our audience is the Graffiti.
I love that.
The SW1. And then you'll need some, attachments for pickleball. You'll need the pickleball adapter and the twist weight adapter. But for those that really want to get dialed in on swing weight and twist weight and play around with weight setups and the rest of it, the Graffiti is worth every penny. And Brian does a great job of support and instruction and everything else that comes with that.
Yeah, great option here. The Graffiti is brilliant.
All right.
All right. I've only got one thing on the $300 range. So the Selkirk Boomstick is not going to be discounted, and it's $333, but they have a new colorway called the Regal colorway, which is going to be black and gold, coming out on pre-sale on November 28th. So if you've been waiting to pull the trigger on the Boomstick and you didn't like the color, or if you have one and you want a special edition colorway, then this is an opportunity for you to do that.
I do like when Selkirk does that black and gold.
Yeah.
I had
it's pretty sharp.
An old Epic. I think that was black and gold, and it was pretty sharp.
Yeah. Money is no consideration is next, Eddie.
All right.
All right. I have a feeling you and I probably put the same thing in here.
Go for it.
I have the Titan Ace ball machine in there.
Oh, we don't.
Okay. Which is $350 off right now, bringing it down to $1,800, $1,850 to be precise. So big investment, but if you are looking for a ball machine and you want one of the best, that money can buy, like we mentioned last week, you've got one. You bought one yourself.
Mine's actually the Titan Pro. So.
Oh, is it? Okay. Wait, your actual.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you take it over. So, how much is the Titan Pro after that?
It retails, I think, for $2,300, but
okay.
They've had some sales going on lately that would drive that price down.
Yeah. All right. $350 off of all Titan ball machines.
Yeah.
During Black Friday, and you're still liking it?
Oh my gosh, John, I've probably used it 10 times in the last month.
Okay.
And it is every bit as reliable as I had predicted. And just the interface between software and hardware for a ball machine, I think, is what makes the experience. And this is done about as well as I could ever expect any company to do.
Yeah.
I mean, the machine knows where it is. So you set it up on basically the baseline at the tee. And because it knows where it is, it knows exactly what kind of spin and speed to put on a ball to get it wherever you want on the court. And if you want to practice backhand flicks, just put your finger on the app and it'll put it there every time.
Wow, that's really cool.
The accuracy, when you have consistent balls, is fantastic.
Yeah. Can you set it up outside of that? Let's say you want to do cross-court dinks. Can you set it on the corner of the kitchen?
Yeah, so those are the two locations, is at the tee and then at the corner of the kitchen.
Okay.
And from there, there's really unlimited number of drills that you can create.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I still have my old 5-year-old Lobster, which it's been great, super durable, but it's all kind of manual. You're twisting knobs to get the top spin and slice, right. and you're adjusting the angle. And there'll be times where I'm spend 5 minutes setting it up, and then I run over. I don't have the remote. I was too cheap to get the remote, and I'll run over and then try to return a serve, and it just was like, boo, it sends the ball and it hits the back fence. I'm like, oh God, I got to run over and change things. So it's,
the other day it was a little windy out. I had the wind at my back, so the balls were, launching a little bit long based on the predicted location. So I just went to the app, dialed in a little extra top spin, boom.
Nice.
They're right there.
That's
it's
really cool.
Amazing.
That's really
cool. It really is.
Yeah, I may have to get one. I've been debating whether or not to replace my old Lobster. I think Lobster's also running they have more updated ones. They're running Black Friday sales too, and those are good machines also. But yeah, I think that the Titan interface, as far as I know, is much better. It has more options.
At the cost of an entire year's membership at a club, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
But for the right person, for the right serious person who has run out of drilling partners because they, it's not fun.
Yeah.
It's an investment, but a
yeah.
good one.
I was that type of person for sure, especially when I was just getting the fever, the itch to play seriously. And I was just like, nobody wants to drill. I've got to find a ball machine. And I spent hours on the court, like working on third shot drops and other things. And
I remember. That's how we met.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. That was fun. All right, let's move on. Eddie,
I wonder what all that would cost if we had purchased everything on our list.
Oh, man. Jeez. We're talking maybe, I'm going to guess.
$3,500? $4,000?
Yeah. Up around $5,000 is my guess.
I'll take it. Thanks, John.
Yes, sir. Let's move on to a deep dive segment this week. We're going to talk again about frame flex on paddles. So I'm going to move some of this so we don't crush it. So
that is
this thing is no joke. Yeah, try to pick that up. It's heavier than anything.
Oh, that's got to be 50 pounds.
It's at least 50 pounds. So I got this new machine. It's a digital force gauge. And basically, it's a standardized way to apply force. So what I've been doing is clamping a paddle at 2 inches from the butt cap and then applying pressure at 14 inches from the butt cap. And that allows me to test both wide bodies, hybrids, and elongated. So everything is standardized in that regard.
So do you have it clamped something like that?
Yes, exactly. So it's clamped solid in a vise, and it's pushing down. And what I'm doing, this allows you to press it down, and it measures in millimeters how far you're pressing it. So I'm going to 10 millimeters deflection, basically bending the paddles 10 millimeters. And then it tells you the force in newtons, the force it took to push that paddle down, bend that paddle 10 millimeters, right? So this is just a way to standardize and look. So what you're seeing is that the stronger the force it takes to bend the paddle, the less flexible, the stiffer the frame is. So we have a chart here showing the paddles that I tested. And I just did these in a couple of hours yesterday.
Okay.
So these are initial results. And I'm going to work on my methodology because every paddle I used had hard pallets, because if you have soft pallets, that's going to cause some differentiation. It's going to make the paddle look like it's way more flexible than it actually is, right? So I want to standardize that, and I'm thinking about some other things, like maybe a 3-point system where the handle's resting on a solid steel something, and there are 2 steel things underneath the paddle, and I press in the center. That's another way to do it. That's more of kind of a traditional deflection. Regardless, these are going to be some preliminary results. The methodology could be improved, but clearly they're matching the reality to some extent of what the paddles look like. So it was shocking to me how stiff the boomsticks are. The frame of those stands out. It took like almost 90 newtons to bend those paddles down 10 millimeters.
Did you get any cracking or anything?
No, we're on a couple of paddles, a little bit
Okay.
of frame cracking. Not in a bad way, it's just settling in, right? So what I did is I put it in, and just to kind of standardize everything, I would push it down to like 20, before I started on the 10 on every one of them. And that's when I was getting the cracking, and then I'd start it at 10, right? So yeah, the Selkirks are far and away out of the sample I chose, that I tested yesterday, are the stiffest frames, and down to the bottom, the pre-production Black Opal. Now, I haven't retested the production model Black Opal, but it does have a stiffer frame. Now, first of all, I want to say that this doesn't necessarily reflect poorly or in a good way on any one paddle, right? We still haven't figured out what frame flex does. I think there's pros and cons to frame flex. We'll talk about those in a second. But let's just look at this distribution again in a little more detail. So the Vatic V-Sole, both Power and Pro models, are the next highest stiffness together with the Gearbox GX2 Power. Some ones in the middle are like the 6.0 Coral, which is way stiffer than their Black Opal. The Yola Scorpius 4, 14 millimeter, and the Carbon True Foam Genesis 4 is there in the middle too. Now compare that to the Carbon True Foam Waves, which is third from last in terms of the most flexible frame. So something about that Waves has a way more flexible frame than does the True Foam Genesis. And they were the same shapes too. So I tested the 4 on both of those. The Perseus 4 was way more flexible than I thought. So that's on the lower end of the force scale here, meaning it has a more flexible frame. So that's down around like the Ape's Charm, which we knew had a bit of a flexible frame because of those incisions in the core. I should have taken out that C45 Dynasty because that had a foam pallet. So I think that's artificially lower than where it should be. Any other standouts in here for you?
Mm-mm.
So the Luz Inferno is kind of right there in the middle. Honolulu J2 and F is up to, on the higher end, so a stiffer frame, together with the Rhombus Quanta R1. Oh, and then all the Gen 1 paddles, so the Bantams, the TKOCX, the ALWC, very flexible frames, as you would expect with the Gen 1. So for those that haven't been following kind of our discussion on this, so any kind of thermoform paddle is going to stiffen up the frame because what they're doing is putting a carbon fiber seam around the entire perimeter and then sealing that into a mold and putting that into an oven basically to cure everything together. So that carbon fiber seam stiffens up the beam flex on the paddle. So any kind of Gen 2 and above paddle will have a stiffer frame versus Gen 1, which sometimes you just have exposed polymer on the side. Sometimes they cover it with something, cosmetic to cover it. But there's not basically a frame or anything around the perimeter to stiffen it up. So it's a lot more flexible.
How is like face and core flex not factoring into this? Because it seems like that would play a role in what the machine is doing. It's like it's compressing this thing.
Oh, you mean like the actual deflection of the face of it too? Yeah, I'm sure that plays in, but I don't think the way I'm clamping it and where I'm pressing it down, I think mostly that's testing beam flex. There's going to be a little bit of face compression too, but I don't think that's going to play into this as much as the frame flex is.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, the next question is, what does this all mean? Right. Well, one, you can feel it. So, if you look at this chart, the ones that feel the stiffest are the ones that have the stiffest frames, and the ones that feel softer generally have the
So this tracks to your anecdotal thoughts on these paddles?
Yeah, to some extent. And there's some differences and outliers here. Like I feel like the Bread and Butter Loco feels way stiffer than it shows here on the chart. It has a flexier frame than the majority here. It's kind of in the middle, low end, right? The Perseus 4, I feel like has a stiffer frame than what it shows here also. Any one stand out to you that don't really match your expectations?
No, not really. I mean, I'm not really that finely tuned to know what I'm feeling in terms of frame flex versus some other sort of flex. So this is new data coming at me.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like once you get tuned into that frame flex, you start to notice it a lot more, and I become a little bit obsessed with it now. One paddle that most people think does feel soft, that has a stiff frame, is the Gearbox GX2 Power Hybrid. So that has a softer kind of catch and release feel, but that's all in the face. Do you know what I mean? The face is catching and releasing, whereas the frame is very stiff.
That's why it's really difficult to sort of discern frame flex, because there's so many other factors that can be disguising itself as just general flexiness.
Yep, 100%. Now, the other side of this, besides feel, is performance. So what is this doing for performance? Now, the only thing I can say with some amount of confidence right now is that I feel like most people will react to a stiffer frame in the same way, right? Either they're going to like it or dislike it, right? And that's going to be the case for most people. Whereas there's personal preferences. Like you're going to play with this and you're going to either like a stiffer feel or not. Versus the more flexible frames, I feel like that is a much more polarizing paddle. In other words, there'll be a bigger split among people that either they're going to love it or they're going to hate it. There's very few people who are going to be kind of in the middle ground, like, it's okay for me. So I think it's a little more dangerous for paddle companies to put out flexible frame paddles, but there are people that love the feel of that. And a lot of pros actually do love flexible frame paddles, I've come to find. And people still use the paddle text. A lot of pros actually prefer that. So looking at Chris Hayworth, for example, he was shopping around paddles apparently. I don't know what's happening with Babolat, but he's in a intermediate state right now, and I think he's still a Babolat pro, but they're allowing him to test other paddles. So at Worlds, he was trying out a bunch of different paddles. He'd play with my Luz Inferno, just practice with it for a bit to see if he liked it. And he likes it a lot. He also likes the Canon. But yeah, Chris chose to play in finals at Worlds in singles with the PaddleTech TKO CX 12.7 millimeter, which is a very flexible paddle. So even though it has a smaller sweet spot, some pros and rec players, I'm sure, prefer the feel of a flexible frame paddle. Another thing I can say in general is that I feel like flexible frame paddles, there's probably a loose correlation between sweet spot and stiffness of the paddle beam, the paddle frame. So the stiffer ones generally are going to have larger sweet spots. Now, not always the case. I'm not saying that the paddle that's flexible is always going to have a garbage sweet spot, but I feel like that's a trend that we're noticing with sweet spots. Would you agree?
I was going to ask about power. Do you think there's any correlation between what we're seeing here and power? It seems like there's quite a number of powerful paddles at the top of the scale here.
That's a really good question, and we don't know yet. So we're testing it. And in fact, I'm working with Gearbox right now. I think I already told everybody on the pod a couple of weeks ago that they sent me 2 of the elongated GX2 powers. One had the stiff frame that the production model has, and then they made the neck of the other one. Everything else is exactly the same. They made the neck thinner on the other one to provide the frame to flex. And that one with the flexier frame got a slightly higher PB core score. And we're seeing that with other paddles too. Remember the Graffiti experiment? He 3D printed a neck brace basically for the Core Super Court, and identical build, but the one with the stiffer frame got a lower PB core score than the one with the flexible frame. Now, so I think that's a trend with the PB core test, Q core, all these tests. The question is that a reality on the court? Are flexible frame paddles getting more juice than a stiffer frame paddle, other things being equal? In other words, would the same build, show a noticeable difference in firepower if it had a flexible frame? We don't know yet. So we're testing.
So your example of Gearbox, they stiffened up just the neck in this area here, or is it pretty much across the entire body of the paddle that they've stiffened up?
Just the neck, and they didn't stiffen it up. So the production model already has a stiff neck, and what they did with the other one was made it more flexible at the neck. So everything else is exactly the same. So they're making the neck a little thinner, so it's allowed to flex there. And
generally, is that what this test is showing, kind of that flex like right in this section here, or is it?
No, it's across the whole beam.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm clamping it at 2 inches, and then I'm pressing it at 14 inches. So everything in between that has the ability to flex. So I imagine that most of that flex is happening at the neck because that's the narrowest part. But yeah. So yeah, preliminary results, but I find it interesting, and I think that we're onto something here, and this is going to be a useful metric that we can use in the future. Oh boy. Screws falling out. That's probably not important.
No. It's like when I fix cars, there's leftover parts. It's probably some kind of set screw or something.
Yeah, I'll keep it. All right, Eddie. We've got another little nerdy segment here. I've been meaning to update my ball database for a while. People hardly ever look at it. They're always looking at the paddle database. But I do have a ball database on my website, which compares different metrics on balls. So I've narrowed it down. There are a bunch of balls currently on there that are no longer for sale. But I wanted to compare, especially now that the Lifetime ball is becoming more popular and it's the official ball of the PPA, what the Lifetime compares to others. And what I did before, which is now outdated, so I'll update my website soon to provide this new data. But I was testing, before I had the ball cannon and the whole setup here, I was testing the rebound of the balls by dropping it through a funnel at 2 meters above a granite block and measuring how high the ball bounced with a ruler on the wall and a high-speed camera, right? And that turns out it doesn't provide good results because all balls behave basically the same at low velocities, low velocity rebound. So I was getting like basically the same results or even misleading results for balls that I knew were faster, didn't score higher on the rebound, right? So what I'm doing now is testing it just like we do for PB core on paddles. So shooting it at 50 miles an hour at a stationary paddle and measuring the ratio of inbound to outbound. Now, there's a lot more that goes into the PB core formula, Q core formula to measure the paddle score, but I'm taking the raw ratio here of inbound to outbound velocity, shooting it at a carbon true foam Genesis 1. Okay, so that's what the COR column shows us here. And I've got also hardness as measured with the Shore D. Oh, I should have done a correlation between hardness and COR. I imagine that's a pretty strong correlation. The harder the ball, the faster it is. And I've got the weight here too. Just because we were talking last time that the Lifetime ball feels so much heavier than other balls, but you can see here that it's lighter. It's a little bit heavier than the Franklin X40, but it's not as heavy as it feels like it is. All right, so this is sorted by COR from highest to lowest. So the Lifetime ball is way more powerful than the next contender, which is the Crown Cold Weather, which drops from 2.64 on the Lifetime down to 2.39 on the Crown. And then you get a clustering pretty tightly all the way, well, not pretty tightly, but tighter than that big gap between the Lifetime and the Crown all the way down. So in descending order, we have both Crowns, so the Cold Weather and the Outdoor Gamma Chuck next, Gearbox GB1 next, the Yola Helios next, Vulcan V Pro Flight is kind of upper middle. So a lot of people can classify that as a power ball. It's not so much. It's after playing with it, it's a little bit chaotic because of the weird bounces, but it doesn't feel like the most overpowered ball to me either. Selkirk Pro S1 is right there in the middle. That's surprised me a little bit. It feels a little more powerful than that. The Core Outdoor, the Neoslick Vega 4, which performs very similar to the Vulcan V Pro Flight.
Never heard of it.
The Vigil Outdoor Onyx. So this one I'm pretty sure is a mistake, or I didn't have a brand new Onyx, so I used a used one. And I think that once you use them, they drop in power because we all know that the Dura is a pretty poppy, powerful ball. Not many people play with them anymore. It used to be the PPA ball that everybody played with, but it's very expensive and not very durable. So, but I think that should be up there around like the Yola Helios is kind of where, or maybe the Gamma Chuck.
And it is very hard.
It's very,
you know that.
Very hard, yeah. If you look at that Shore D, that's almost the hardest 60. Ball. Yeah, it's the hardest ball on here, just above the Selkirk Pro S1. And now all the way down to the softest and the least powerful, which is the Franklin X40, as we expected, right? Yeah. So just a better way to objectively measure kind of the rebound potential, the velocity potential of pickleballs. So I'll update the website and show this. Anything in here that stands out to you, Eddie?
So you took the natural core of the paddle. That's not part of this calculation. It's just the ball.
Exactly, just the ball. What the ratio of the inbound to outbound velocity is of the ball shooting it at 50 miles an hour at a carbon true foam Genesis.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm not surprised that Lifetime is at the top of the list. I'm surprised at how big the gap is between that and pretty much every other ball on the list. Yeah, for sure. And again, that's a new Lifetime ball. Once they break in after a few games, it's going to be down probably right in the middle of this list. That'll be the next thing I test. Because I've got a bunch of broken in Lifetime balls that we've used for Q Core. Test one of those. Actually, I already know. So it drops down to 0.23-ish. So yeah, it's going to be right in the middle. Oh, the new balls, but how would it compare against used versions of every other ball on this list?
I think that there's a less steep break-in curve for every other ball on this list. And in fact, I did that study. I compared it to the Vulcan and to the Franklin, and both the Vulcan and the Franklin have a gradual curve, and then the Lifetime drops off steeply, and then it stabilizes. So, yeah. But yeah, after a broken in Lifetime, it's going to be, I'm going to put it like at the Selkirk Pro S1
Middle of
level.
the pack.
Yeah.
Okay. Still your favorite ball?
Yeah.
You think this is why?
I mean, the true bounce off of it, truer bounce. Playing with them new here in Colorado is a little bit wild. I definitely like a broken in one better than a new one, but if I had to choose between a new Vulcan and a new Lifetime, definitely a new Lifetime. Franklin X40, I still like playing with those. It's you get what you get. They're more predictable, but they, especially in the heat, they tend to become marshmallows. Now, moving into the winter, if I was playing outdoor, we don't know the performance yet. Some people do. I have already played last year in the cold with a Lifetime. But if it gets correspondingly bouncier with colder temperatures as it gets stiffer, that would be wild to play with, especially here in Colorado with the thin air. So I would probably opt for a Franklin X40 if I was playing outdoor below 50-degree weather here in Colorado. Yeah. How about you? How are you liking the Lifetime?
Oh, I love it for consistency and mostly for durability, I would say. It's the only ball I put in the Titan because I wanted one ball in there and I wanted something that was fairly stable.
Nice.
And it seems to be that way.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. We should try the Franklin X40 holeless in the cold. See what that does.
Oh, I got the raw COR on that. It is above 3.
I was going to say.
I think it's like 0.36 or something. It's crazy. Yeah. It's so much higher. Yeah.
I can imagine. It just does not compress. I mean, the gases inside just don't compress.
Right. Yeah. And at elevation, it's hotter. We figured that out too. Next thing I want to do is to see if there's a mechanized way to break in a Lifetime ball. I want to put them in like the air cycle in the dryer and see if you run it for an hour. Maybe that would break it in.
Haven't you destroyed enough of your home?
My wife loves me so much. Eddie, let's move on, buddy.
Yeah.
2 fun facts. I'm so excited to hear what your fun fact is.
Has nothing to do with pickleball or anything that could be even applied to pickleball. But I was watching YouTube last night, and the algorithm just spits stuff at you sometimes. And the algorithm put in front of me, like, people going to see Star Wars in 1977. I don't do a lot of searching for Star Wars, but it just popped up for some reason.
Yep.
And it got to me thinking, like, I was there in 1977, not at the opening, but I went to see Star Wars in the movie theater.
Wow.
In New York City. And what I remember at that age, I was 8 years old, right? I go in there, we were a little bit late to the movie, so the place was already full of people. And that opening sequence where the Imperial ship is taking over Leia's ship, and there's just smoke everywhere, debris.
Yeah.
I go into the theater, and people are smoking cigarettes in there. And so the whole theater has this cloudy, like on fire motif to it. And it's like, wow, this is all encompassing. It's very real. But that got me thinking about like smoking has completely changed in our lifetime. It used to be everywhere. Do you remember going into restaurants and asking for the non-smoking section?
Yep.
Like, can you imagine today that like people would smoke like that?
No. And it's not that people are softer today. I'm way more sensitive to the cigarettes now. Like if I can smell it walking by a bar that has a smoking section, like even on the outside of the bar, I'm like, I'm not going to that bar. It smells awful.
But smoking in movie theaters.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
It's nuts how far we've come. And, whatever your position on that is your position. But man, I think we're way better off not having like tight indoor facilities where there are people smoking cigarettes. It's just like you're in a carcinogen tank, right?
Yeah, and that stuff doesn't go away. It just hangs in your curtains and in your upholstered furniture and on yourself. And
I'm going to tell this story as an aside, and my mom is not going to like it, but my parents used to smoke in the car all the time, right? And on family trips, and this was the beginning of my mom stopping smoking, and she'd been a lifetime smoker. But I was young, 10 years old or something, and we were driving, and I had a pair of shorts on. I was in the back seat, and she's smoking a cigarette. She flicked it out the window. It flew out her window, in my window and went up my shorts. And I was like a jumping bean in the back. I'm like, stop the car, stop the car, stop the car. And my dad's like, what? And he pulls over and I like jump out of the car and just strip my shorts off. And I'm like, what in the heck are you doing? And then like just a burning ember of a cigarette on the ground. And my mom felt so bad.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And then she quit. It took her a few tries, but she quit a few months later.
You probably weren't seatbelted at the time.
No,
right?
I was not.
It wasn't that either.
That's how I got this big lump on my nose. My dad was driving a pickup truck through town and somebody pulled out in front of him. He had a metal dashboard on this old Ford, and I just splatted my nose right on that dashboard.
How did we make it to 2026? It's crazy, all the crap we lived through.
I know. Humans are built to be resilient, right?
Uh-huh. All right,
Good stuff, Eddie. I had a couple of facts on I don't know if I want to cover this because mine goes deep, man. Yeah. What was I thinking with this? All right, I'll try to make this bearable and shorter than what it looks to be. So I wanted to cover this concept of actually, this is a good segue from yours.
All right, good.
Are we better off because that we were forced into these situations that kind of toughened us up a little bit when we were younger? So this whole concept of pressure fashions diamonds, right? Or weathering the storm, or put up whatever phrase from different cultures in here. We all have it. You know, every culture around the world has this. But being an archaeologist, I always kind of look back into the ancient history of things. And this is a very, very old concept. In fact, it's the first writing ever has this concept embedded into it. And I'm sure it happened, this concept was here with us before we actually adopted writing. So if we go back to the ancient Romans, particularly in Stoic philosophy, this was a big thing. So Epictetus in the 1st century AD, one of his quotes was, "When the difficulty is over, remember the joy you felt not because the hardship ceased, but because you proved yourself greater than it." Right. So this is massive Stoic philosophy. So in other words, weather the struggle because the real reward is the clarity and confidence waiting kind of on the other side of it. I'm going to try to bring this back to pickleball. So I was watching like the pros play, and something that is consistent in pro play is that you see them, even pros have ups and downs, but the pros that win, the winningest pros, stay in the valleys less than they are up on the peaks. And you can see them just weathering the storm. Like pickleball is a very fickle sport. You can see it leaves even the best pros, they sometimes they're just not on, right? And sometimes it happens for a whole game. You see them kind of feeling horrible after they lost, but they always come back. So it's kind of a lesson to us as amateur pickleball players that yes, pickleball is a very mental game, but the next time you're frustrated on the pickleball court, just kind of remember, first of all, take this cosmic perspective. How privileged are we to be playing with a wiffle ball, this game? First of all, we're living in this time of peace and prosperity that the world has never seen before, right? And we're playing this game, and we're getting frustrated because we're not playing this game very well. Like it happens to me too, but let's take this kind of cosmic perspective first of all. I mean, 2,000 years ago when Epictetus wrote this, they literally had to worry about being crucified, right? Yeah. They had real worries. We've got nothing. Secondly, remember that even the pros have ups and downs. So the best players trust their game, they weather the storm and experience the satisfaction of growing stronger. That was a lot, Eddie.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Give me a Jack Handy lead in here, John.
Okay. This is Deep Thoughts with Jack Handy.
If trees could scream, would we be so cavalier about cutting them down? We might, if they screamed all the time for no good reason.
That's another of my favorite. Those are so good. I wish they were still around. Deep Thoughts with Jack Handy. I forgot the closing.
Good stuff.
Yes, sir. All right. We got some Q&A here.
All right. Let me just pull that up here real quick.
Episode 86.
First question from Kurt5347. Hello, John and Eddie. Love your show and have been enjoying it since the get-go. I have a question for your Q&A. When you guys dial in your paddles to compete, what metrics do you shoot for in regards to swing weight, twist weight, and overall paddle weight?
Okay. I'll let you go first, Eddie. Give me a chance to think about it.
Yeah, I will add weight to pretty much every single paddle I play with. The amount of weight depends. And the placement of that weight depends, but I will put on as much weight as I can possibly tolerate to boost that twist weight as high as possible. So what can I tolerate? Somewhere up in the 120 point range for a swing weight. So if a paddle is coming in light at, let's say, 110, I've got a lot of weight that I could add fairly high up on the paddle face to keep me below that 120 and yet boost that twist weight up as high as it'll go.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it's above 7.0 or even higher, depending on if it's a wide body or an elongated. But that's the idea, is to add as much as you can tolerate in swing weight.
Yeah.
And whatever that ends up in twist weight is what you get.
Yeah.
As for static weight, I really don't even look at that, because for me it's how does the paddle feel as I'm swinging it?
Yeah. Yeah, very similar, you and I, with our preferences here. And same as you, I don't, the static weight, once I measure the static weight of my stock paddle, I never look at it again.
Right.
I manipulate the weight on the edges and try to get it to a certain swing weight and twist weight. And I'm looking to maximize twist weight and minimize swing weight. Clearly, they play on each other, so there's always a relationship there. My swing weight, I think it also depends on your paddle shape. Clearly, that affects the swing weight and twist weight, but I find I have a higher tolerance for swing weight on elongated paddles, and then there's a bit of a trade-off there because you're getting more reach. And versus, I don't mind a 121 swing weight on an elongated paddle. I wouldn't want to play with a wide body with a 121 swing weight, Now, I think part of that is, and this is something I've been thinking about lately, there is a metric called spin weight. And so this is swing weight, this is twist weight, and this is spin weight, which is literally a summation of swing weight plus twist weight. So why I think that's important is I don't know if it's important to everybody, but let us know if this is something that you want to hear more about or see in the database. But the reason why I was saying that I wouldn't want to play with a wide body paddle that has a 121 swing weight is because that's twist weight is going to be over 8 on that, right? Yep. So if you're looking at the spin weight, it's going to be, close to 130. And they're the same metric, basically. They're measuring kilograms per cubic meter, something like that. That's not it, but it's the same metric. So you can imagine that you notice a big difference around, I'd say, 3 to 5 points on swing weight, right? That's a noticeable difference. So, when you sum those together, then 3 to 5 points is going to make a difference in overall maneuverability of the paddle. So, a wide body with a 121 swing weight and a 9.0 twist weight is going to feel more sluggish than a 121 swing weight elongated with a 6.3 twist weight, because you're gaining a couple of points there overall in your.
I see.
So I think it's not nearly as important as the swing weight and twist weight individually are, but it might be something we can consider moving forward, because there is a point where twist weight can also. So
you're just adding those numbers together?
Exactly.
Equally weighted?
Yeah, exactly. To get your spin weight.
I see.
Number. And it's a metric in tennis, and we haven't really talked about it in pickleball, but it's a thing in pickleball as well. Anyhow, so what I'm generally shooting for is especially, or on a elongated, I want to get ideally my swing weight below 120, so maybe 119, 118 ideally. I don't mind if it creeps up to 120, 121, but I want a twist weight that's in the mid to upper sixes, so 6.5 to 6.8. That's about as good as you can ask for. And then, if we go all the way down to wide body, I'm looking for something like in the lower teens for swing weight and above 7 on twist weight, and that's ideal. And then hybrid's going to be right in the middle of those two. And so I play around with the graffiti until, using those sliders, I slide them up and down.
So good, right?
Until I get that ideal ratio. And I'm using swing weight as the guide. I don't want to go over that certain swing weight, but I want the twist weight to go up accordingly. So that's about our limits there.
All right. One more question?
Yeah, let's do it.
This one from Spank Pickleball. This one's for you, John. When a fully floating core paddle has tape on the internal lateral sides of the paddle under X-ray, does that tape prevent the core from floating?
Oh, he's talking about under X-ray, like this build where you have the carbon fiber strip on the edges. Does it prevent it from fully floating?
Yeah.
I don't think so. You can definitely feel a difference in that build versus the same build that's not floating. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to think of some examples. Well, I mean, if you take the Luz, for example, this has a fully floating core, the Luz Inferno. It's MPP in the center, EVA band around the exterior, and it does have the strips of carbon fiber on the edges. And this feels very different than any kind of non-floating core. To me, very different. Might be subtle differences to other people. But yeah, so I don't think that's causing the floatingness to go away, if you know what I mean. I did learn, however, that I thought that they were just putting that tape in to boost twist weight, to get it, enhance the twist weight to swing weight correlation. But I think somebody told me that 11624 was the original company to do that, and they didn't necessarily do it to increase twist weight. It was a beneficial byproduct of them covering the foam enhancements on the side to make sure that you didn't get any kind of breakage of the surface layup of the carbon fiber sheets close to the edge where the foam is softer than the inside. But it ended up doing both things, so it enhanced durability and performance. So brief little bit of history on that.
Okay.
On that build. Good stuff, Eddie.
John, where are we at?
Oh, it's well past an hour.
Good show. Happy Thanksgiving to you, sir.
Yes.
Enjoy some time with family.
Got any big plans for Thanksgiving?
I got the kids coming, so we'll have a full house.
I love it. Yeah.
Okay.
Same.
Favorite Thanksgiving side? I think I asked you this last year, but maybe things have changed.
Yeah. I'm trying to not give the same answer as last year, but it's probably going to happen. So my favorite, if I'm making it and have to consider labor investment, then the best bang for your buck is going to be green bean casserole off the back of the Campbell's soup can, the recipe there, because it takes like 10 minutes. You bake it for 30 minutes, 10 minutes prep. It's delicious. If I have to go like old school and use my family history, I'm going to go giblet gravy, which is a Southern favorite that my mom's mom used to make. How about you, Eddie?
I'm a stuffing guy, John.
Okay.
Any kind like sourdough bread stuffing, cornbread stuffing, anything high in carbs, I'm going to be all over. And then I'm going to take a giant nap after.
All right. I like it. Not from the tryptophan, but from the combination of carbohydrates and fat together swimming in your body. Excellent, Eddie. All right, good sir.
Take care.
Have a good one.